Hi, I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon, and this is Frame by Frame. And I did a frame by frame a couple of years ago on Jean-Luc Godard, so it's only appropriate that I do one on the other lion of the French New Wave, Francois Truffaut. Francois Truffaut was the much more romantic filmmaker. He was born in 1932. He died, unfortunately, in 1984 of a brain tumor at the age of 52. But in his short career, he managed to create a series of beautiful films, the first of which was The 400 Blows in 1959 with a very young Jean-Pierre Léaud. It's an autobiographical story about Truffaut's youth, where he was nearly a juvenile delinquent and was only rescued from the streets of Paris by André Bazin, who brought him into Cahiers du Cinéma, which was the great French film magazine, and he made this film in 1959 for practically no money at all. It was a huge hit, and from then he went on to make Shoot the Piano Player, which is sort of a detective romantic comedy, Jules and Jim, which is one of the most beautiful romance films of all time.
Is it true that a long time ago, firemen used to put out fires and not burn books?
Fahrenheit 451, which remains his only English film, and which in a way accurately predicts the future where there are no books and where you have an entire society which is completely composed of images. And it's a very underrated film and quite effective. Day for Night, which is, for me, the greatest movie about making movies. It was made in 1973, and towards the end of his career, The Green Room. Most people know him because he plays the scientist in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He loved working on that film because he was paid an enormous amount of money. They would do one shot per day, and he could spend the rest of the time in his trailer writing the script for his next 3 movies. So Francois Truffaut was an effective force in that film, but a brilliant filmmaker in his own right. His death in 1984 was far too early because he was an absolute genius. So the next time that you have the yen to look at a classic romantic example of the French avant-garde, I suggest The 400 Blows, the soft-skinned Jules and Jim, Fahrenheit 451, and Day for Night, which is one of the most beautiful films about the passion and power of movie making. I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon, and this is Frame by Frame.